Be prepared. Most people are completely oblivious to what's coming. But it won't stay hidden for long. You thought this was just going to be another week, didn't you? You've been looking at the wrong moon phases this whole time. Everyone's obsessed with full moons and eclipses, thinking that's when the biggest energy shifts happen. But what if I told you the real game changer is happening right now, in this quiet, overlooked first week of February? This isn't just any ordinary week. There's something strange about the first week of February. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And trust me, you need to see this before the energy locks in. The weird thing about early February, it always comes with strange, almost fated events. If you look back, year after year, this week has a pattern, unexpected opportunities, sudden realizations, and eerie synchronicities all clustering together. This isn't random. This is a cycle, a hidden energetic loop that pulls people into certain experiences, certain decisions, certain outcomes. And right now, you're standing inside it. The question is, are you just drifting along, or will you finally see the pattern and use it to your advantage? Because something's about to shift, and if you don't recognize it, you'll just repeat the same cycle again. We are stepping into the most overlooked and misunderstood moon phase, and it's about to test you. On February 5th, the moon reaches its first quarter. Not a new moon, not a full moon, just an in-between phase, right? Wrong. First quarter moons are the crossroads of the lunar cycle, a point where things start moving, but the final outcome isn't clear. It's a cosmic pressure point forcing you to take action while the road ahead is still foggy. If you've been feeling torn between two choices, or like you're being pushed towards something, but don't fully understand why, this is why. This is the worst time for impulsive decisions. Emotions are loud, but clarity is still whispering. This is the phase where people rush into something they think is right, only to regret it later, because the answers haven't fully revealed themselves yet. So if you're feeling that internal pull, that restlessness, that urge to act now, pause. Because the first quarter moon is designed to test you, and only those who recognize it will make the right move. At some point this week, something will click, and you won't be able to ignore it. It might come as a conversation that stings, a sudden realization that changes the way you see someone, or even a quiet moment where you finally admit something to yourself that you've been avoiding. The universe has a way of holding up a mirror when we least expect it. And right now, the reflection might not be what you want to see, but it's exactly what you need to see. This week is not about external chaos. It's about internal confrontation. A moment where you'll either face the truth or shove it back down and pretend you never noticed. But here's the thing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the real question is, what will you do with it? Not every feeling of certainty is real. Some are just illusions, dressed as clarity. On February 7th, something subtle yet powerful will happen. The moon will align with Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Jupiter doesn't just whisper energy into our lives, it magnifies whatever it touches. That means emotions won't just be present, they'll be amplified. Thoughts won't just pass through your mind, they'll feel urgent. Decisions won't just seem important, they'll feel destined. And that's exactly where the danger lies. It's easy to mistake a flood of energy for a moment of truth, but sometimes it's just noise disguised as certainty. This is the kind of cosmic event that can make someone believe they've had a major revelation, when in reality, they're standing in front of a funhouse mirror. Jupiter doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care whether it's expanding wisdom or foolishness, clarity or confusion. It just expands. This week, some people will feel like they've cracked the code, like they've finally uncovered something life-changing. Maybe it's an epiphany about their future. Maybe it's a decision they've been wrestling with for weeks that suddenly feels so obvious. But here's the test. Would you still feel that way if this energy wasn't pushing you forward? Would you still trust your gut if the cosmic microphone wasn't amplifying your inner voice? The key here isn't to distrust every thought or feeling. It's to slow down. When Jupiter expands something, it can be hard to tell if it's real or just an exaggeration. The only way to know is to give it time. If a realization is true, it will still feel true after this energy settles. If it's an illusion, the cracks will start to show. So before you act on that life-changing idea, before you say something you can't take back, before you make a choice that feels too good to be questioned, pause. Take a step back, because what feels like a revelation today might just be a mirage disappearing in the rear view tomorrow. Who you were yesterday is not who people see today. And the strangest part? You didn't even notice the shift happening. Reputation is a tricky thing. It's not fixed. It's not set in stone. It moves in cycles, whether we're aware of it or not. And the first week of February always brings a strange, subtle reset. People are looking at you differently now. Maybe it's because of something you said recently. Maybe it's because of something you didn't say. Maybe it's not even about you at all, but about the way their own perception is shifting. But make no mistake, whatever image of you existed in their minds before is fading, and something new is taking its place. The world doesn't just watch you, it rewrites you over and over again. The question is, are you holding the pen? Think about the person you were 6 months ago. Think about how you carried yourself, the things you believed, the energy you projected. Are you still that person, or have you changed in ways that people haven't caught up with yet? Right now, you have a rare opportunity. You're standing at a crossroads where the weight of past impressions is lighter than usual. This is the moment when old labels start peeling off. The stories people told themselves about you are up for revision. This isn't about manipulating how people see you. It's about making sure the reflection they hold of you actually matches who you've become. And here's where things get interesting. This shift isn't just happening to you. You're also seeing other people differently. Maybe you're realizing that someone you trusted isn't as solid as you thought. Maybe someone you underestimated is starting to seem more important. Maybe an old relationship, whether personal or professional, suddenly looks like it belongs to another lifetime. This is a time when people break free from the roles they've been stuck in. The quiet one speaks up. The underestimated one rises. The one who was always overlooked becomes impossible to ignore. Every relationship you have is being rewritten right now, even the one you have with yourself. If you've been misunderstood, this is your moment to step forward and redefine how people see you. If you've been struggling to be taken seriously, this is the time to shift that energy. But the key is intention. Are you going to let others shape your image for you? Or are you going to show up as the person you know you're becoming? Because whether you take control or not, one thing is certain. By the time this energy settles, you won't be seen the same way again. Some things don't stay gone forever. They return, but only once. This week carries an eerie sense of unfinished business. Something you thought was over isn't quite done with you yet. It could be an idea that's been nagging at the back of your mind, a connection you thought had faded, or a door you assumed was closed, suddenly cracking open. But here's the thing. This isn't just another opportunity. It's the last one. The universe has a way of circling things back to us when the timing is right. Sometimes it's because we weren't ready before. Other times it's a final test. Are you going to recognize the opportunity in front of you, or are you about to walk away from something that was meant for you all along? This moment won't wait for you. If you hesitate, it will be gone. And this time, it might not come back. Don't take it for granted. Right now, there's a fleeting window to make a choice. It won't be obvious. It won't announce itself with flashing lights. It might come disguised as a casual conversation, a small decision, or an unexpected shift in perspective. But underneath it all, something is being offered to you, one last time. This is where most people get stuck. They either don't notice the opportunity at all, or they hesitate too long, convincing themselves they'll get another shot. But that's not how this works. If this door closes, it stays closed. If this chapter ends, there's no rewriting it. The difference between moving forward and staying stuck depends on whether you can recognize what's in front of you before it's too late. So take a moment. Pay attention. Something is resurfacing. A choice, a connection, a second chance. The question is, will you take it? Or will you let it slip through your fingers, only to look back and wonder what could have been? This isn't just another ordinary week. It's a blueprint. Right now, the energy you're moving through is shaping the rest of the year. Most people go through February without realizing they're planting the seeds of their future. The things you dwell on, the emotions that come up, the choices you make, they aren't just passing moments. They are setting patterns, and those patterns will stretch far beyond this week. If you stop and really look at what's happening around you, you'll notice it. There's a rhythm, a thread tying everything together. Conversations that feel strangely significant. Thoughts that won't leave your mind. A pull towards something that feels important, even if you can't explain why. This isn't random. The universe is watching what you focus on right now, and it's responding. Think back to past years. The same cycle has played out before, but you may not have noticed. Small decisions made at the start of February spiraled into something much bigger. That one moment of doubt became months of hesitation. That single opportunity shaped an entire path forward. The difference is this time, you have a chance to recognize it while it's still happening. It's easy to dismiss this week as just another set of days, to assume that nothing major is shifting. But that's exactly why so many people miss it. This is where the foundation is being built. You're standing in the middle of it, whether you realize it or not. So the question isn't whether this week matters. It's whether you're paying attention to the patterns forming around you, because once they take hold, they will be much harder to shift. The energy is moving, setting the stage for what comes next. The only thing left to ask is, what are you allowing to take root? You think you're just making everyday choices, but in reality, you're making moves that will determine the next chapter of your life. This week, every decision you make is rippling further than you realize. A yes, a no, a delay, an impulse. They are all being noted. You are not just living, you are being observed. Not by people, but by something bigger. Call it fate, call it energy, call it the universe, but it's watching. It's like a chess game you don't even know you're playing. Every move you make is shifting pieces on a board you can't fully see yet. Some people will brush this off. They'll keep moving through the week as if nothing is happening. But others, those who are paying attention, will start to notice the patterns. Because whether you see it or not, your next chapter is already being written. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.